Eritrea has become the beacon of freedom, the beacon of defender of rights and freedom in Africa against the new form of colonialism. The people of Eritrea and the nation of Eritrea has paid a dear price for this honorable and noble cause. But now, Ethiopians are waking up. Somalis are waking up. The rest of Africa will wake up. Africa will not have peace, will not have freedom, will not have prosperity unless it has freed itself from the modern new colonialism of the Western countries. This is what Eritrea has been trying to tell the rest of Africa. But now we are listening.
I think sort of recently more than ever that we've started working through sort of Ethio-Eritrean alliance for peace and stability. Mainly that is the platform for bringing long-term and peace stability in the Horn of Africa. We've been doing it for the last few rallies. Today's rally is even more important in the sense that there are lots of things that are happening which are cross-cutting both in Ethiopia and Eritrea. So hence there is a good reason that we stand together for our people, our region and our countries as well. We are two nations but the same people, so we stand together.
በርግጥ በጣም ይሞቃል። እሁድም ነው ከቤተሰብ ጋር የምታሳልፍበት ጊዜ ነው። ግን ከዚህ የተሻለ ነገር ደግሞ ስለሌለ የሀገራችን ጉዳይ ስለሆነ የህዝባችን ጉዳይ ስለሆነ ኮንሰርን ስለሚያደርገን ሁሉንም ነገር ትተን ለሀገራችን ለመቆም ለህዝባችን ለመቆም እዚህ ቦታ ላይ ተገኝቻለሁ።
Western media, I mean, sometimes you might wonder whether are they working for TPLF or are they working for truth? That's really a big question. So lately what's happening in Ethiopia or in the northern part of Ethiopia is there are Eritrean refugees who have been living in Ethiopia for a good decade, which are under the protection of the UNHCR. But following the unilateral humanitarian ceasefire, the government of Ethiopia has announced it. Ethiopia troops have pulled out to give a chance for peace and for humanitarian space. But TPLF occupied the space. What did they do? They start killing these refugees of the United Nations, which is absolutely deplorable internationally. These people are protected by law under the UN. Unfortunately, the whole world, which this is something that you can see from space, they can't hide it, but they have not said anything about it. So they're selective about who they protect, who they talk about. So truth is for them, it's a colored truth. It's not the real truth as we know it. So unless it spins their value, they would not accept it. Well, that's not truth. The other thing that we know about is children at war. This is also, there is a United Nations Convention which says that troops or rebels or countries should not be recruiting children who should be at school, taking them to war or using them for war. The TPLF vividly and openly bringing to war front and recruiting children as little as 12 and 13 to fight their fight, while the sons and the daughters of the junta are living a lavish life in Europe and in the United States. This is a huge double standard. The world should deplore it. We know that the New York Times published it and it took it down through the Twitter effort and campaign of many people who care for humanity around the world, especially Eritreans and Ethiopians. But that is what the United Nations should be shouting about, not about saying that give access to aid in Ethiopia. Tigray is open for business. Tigray is access is provided for humanitarian. Of course, there won't be any access to bring arms to help TPLF. You shouldn't be expecting that. So they need to respect sovereignty of Eritrea, sovereignty of Ethiopia, but they need to be doing what they ought to be doing if they want to help the people. Otherwise, they should pack up and go. That's what I would be saying.
በመጀመሪያ ደረጃ የዌስተርን ፓወሮችን አዌር ለማድረግ ለማሳወቅ በኢትዮጵያና በኤርትራኖች ላይ የሚደረገውን ጭፍጨፋ በቲፒኤልኤፍ ቴሮሪስት ግሩፕ ሚዲያ ብላክአውት አለ አይነገርም there's የሚሞተው ሰው ቀን በቀን እየጨመረ ነው ያንን ተቃውመን ይሄንን awareness ለመፍጠር ነው በዛ ልክ ደግሞ there's a lot of misinformation እና ያንንም ደግሞ በተቻለ መጠን correct ለማድረግ ትክክለኛውን ኢንፎርሜሽን ለመስጠት ለመናገር ትክክለኛውን የሆነ ያለውን ነገር ኖት በሚዲያ የሚሰራጨውን misinformation ሳይሆን አሁን consistently Eritrean troops አሉ ይባላል they've withdrawn long time ago TPLF ግን insisting ጦርነቱን ወደ ኢንተርናሽናል ለማድረግ ቦርደር አልፎ ለመሄድ ያ ነገር ተረስቶ still aggressors እንደሆኑ የኢትዮጵያና የኤርትራ መንግስት ይነገራል that's false እና ያንን ነገሮች ለመቃወም
I mean, you guys might remember that I stood at the podium of the United Nations and I said no to Tedros Adhanom. Africa should think again. But at that time, they played the race card, blacks versus whites. And he goes the voice and the votes of the black Africans. But unfortunately, this man, one, he has mismanaged the pandemic, okay? While the world is suffocated under the COVID pandemic, what has happened? That he was busy working for diplomatic and lobby action for the TPLF. He was full-time doing that, we know that. So he has not been working for the WHO. There is no chance, would be absolute madness for the world to think about Tedros Adhanom to be elected for the WHO again, unless they want the whole cycle of corruption in WHO to be surfaced again. Because recently, we know that in the past, the AIDS Foundation audit report have shown that he has pilfered millions of pounds to his name and to his cronies. And the same thing again, there is a lot of mismanagement, not just financial, this we're talking about people's lives, okay? There are people, he has got blood on his hands, so there shouldn't be any chance that he should be even considered, let alone be re-elected for that post. We want an accountable, transparent WHO and someone who works for the world, especially for the poor, not for the rich countries where you can get vaccines. That's the place. If you don't protect the whole world, you cannot protect simply Europe.
ተከታትየዋለሁ ከኳሱ ይልቅ በጣም ያስደሰተኝ እኔ ኤርትራኖች ከኢትዮጵያ ተባረው በሚወጡበት ሰዓት በጉርብትና በቤተሰብም በጋብቻም የተገናኘ ሰዎች ስለነበርን ሁላችንም በጣም አዝነናል በያንጌጅም ቢሆን ግን ትናንትና ሲገናኙ ከኳሱ የበለጠ በጣም ኢሞሽናል ነበር
TPLF ፓወር ላይ ከመምጣቱ በፊት የነበሩ ሰዎች እናስታውሳለን እኔ በነገር ፐርሰናሊ 90% ጓደኞቼ ኤርትራኖች ነበሩ እና ወደ ኤርትራን ሲባረሩ ተላቅሰን የተለያየ ነው እኔ እንደዛ በህይወቴ ለመጀመሪያ ጊዜ በዛ እድሜ 13 እያለሁ ነው የተየባለ በጣም ነው ያዘን እና ያ ፍቅር አለቀቀንም እና ደስ የሚለው ነገር ደግሞ አሁን ተገናኝተው በእንደዛ በሰላማዊ ነገር በጦርነት ሳይሆን በሰላማዊ ነገር ለወደፊት ምሳሌ በሚሆን ነገር መገናኘታችን በጣም ደስ ብሎኛል
Sport is the best way you can bring nations together, let alone nations which share a lot of history and a lot of background together. But unfortunately, due to the conflict in that region and between our two countries, this is up to the coming of Dr. Abiy, okay? That nothing has happened along sporting lines. But now we heard that after 2 decades that the two countries' footballers have been playing or sharing the same ball in one sort of stadium or court. That's wonderful. It's even better that the results were 3-3, so they shared the points. What can you sort of think of any best way of bringing nations together and sharing points? So, well, long live for the solidarity between Ethiopia and Eritrea. We would be seeing lots of sporting activities which would bring our countries together and hopefully we will prosper together as well.
ለነሱ ፖለቲካ ሲባል ለነሱ ፍላጎት ሲባል ለነሱ እድሜ ማስረዘም ሲባል ህፃናቶች ኢኖሰንቶች እናቶች አባቶች አሮጊት ሽማግሌ ያለምንም ሄዚቴሽን ለራሳቸው ፐርፐስ ሲሉ መስዋዕት አድርገውታል ያ ነገር በጣም ያባሳጫል በጣም ይቆጫል ከሱም ባሻገር ደግሞ የዌስተርኑ ደግሞ ኢንቮልቭ ማድረግ የባሰ ፕሬሸሩን በህዝባችን ላይ እንዲሆን አድርጎታል እና በጣም ያበሳጨ ለዛም ነው ዛሬ ድምጼን ለማሰማት ይሄንን ነገር እንደማልደግፈው እንደምትቃወመው ከኢትዮጵያ ህዝብ ጋር ከኤርትራ ህዝብ ጋር እንድቆም ያደረገኝ ዛሬ እነኛ ሲቹዌሽኖች ናቸው።
Down with TPLF! Down with TPLF! Down with TPLF!